Welcome back, crew. It's December, and I know it's been a minute, but we are getting back into the swing of things with a brand new game of the month. And two big shout outs on this one. This is actually our second Patreon chosen game of the month. Members of our Patreon get to pick once a quarter which game we'll cover. So, major shout outs to our patrons. If you're interested, definitely check out the link below and help support the channel. And also, this is coming from one of my favorite publishers, Free League. So I'm definitely kind of happy to see how their newest fantasy game comes through. Actually, I shouldn't say newest because this is actually one of the cool things with our game of the month, Dragonbane, is that it was actually a translation, I should say, of an old school Scandinavian game called the Car Deminar, and I probably butchered that. But yeah, it's like Scandinavia's first RPG, and they kind of updated it a little bit and retranslated and published it as Dragonbane out here in the West. So pretty hyped for this one, kind of diving in on that side. So with this, with it being our game of the month, it's going to follow the same process. So today we're going to be going through our first impressions and also a little bit of unboxing for this game because this game, like I bought I wasn't really paying attention as I ordered, but it's kind of the basic package, and you have so much that comes with it. We're going to go into all that comes with it because I feel like this is a really good deal for what I paid for, and I think that's still their core option too. So definitely worth it if you like getting some goodies with your RPG. We're going to touch on first impressions of the system as well, the artwork, everything that kind of goes along with it. Later this week, we're going to be going through how to build a PC, a character, utilizing the Dragonbane rules, going over the core mechanics after that, how to fight, how the exploration, how everything else works in the game. And one of the cool things, we're going to touch on this in the unboxing too. The game comes with solo play rules. And if you watch the channel, I've been getting a little bit more into solo play. So we're definitely going to highlight that too, kind of shout out some of those solo play rules, and hopefully we'll get to run a live solo play session too. But as always, though, we are going to do a live actual play of the Dragonbane RPG. Uh, this or next Thursday, December 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be going through, got our crew together, kind of a good way to cap off the year, celebrate the holidays, and get to see Dragonbane played live. And as always, one lucky viewer will get a chance to win a free PDF copy of the RPG. So stay tuned, keep a lookout for that. There's going to be a link down there. Click like, click notify me, and make sure you come through and get to see the game played out. But yeah, let's dive into the system. Biggest first impression is how much comes with this game. As I said, I didn't really read too clearly. I think I can't remember if I kickstarted it or if I backed it after the Kickstarter was done. But anyway, I pre-ordered it, and like when this came in the mail, I was just shocked how much came with it. So let's kind of like go through. You'll see behind me is the box. Everything came in. I didn't want you guys to have to see me awkwardly fumbling through the box, so I've got everything out. But yeah, so first thing it came with is a core rulebook. One slime, it's like a tiny thorn, is I wish the core rulebook was hardcover, but with all the cool stuff that comes with it, I'm definitely not complaining. They've got some cool art. We've had a conversation about Darkwing Duck, and I've got the theme song in my head now with one of their playable races, or do they call it ancestries in this too, the Mallard. So great. They got the core rulebook, a lot of cool stuff within, and we're going to go through those a little bit more as we get into our character creation and mechanics videos this week. But yeah, so you get the core rulebook. You get the what do they call it, Alone in Deep Fall Breach, which is their solo play rules. So your solo play character and all of that, which is going to be sick. I don't know when. I'm on. Luckily, I'm off work for the next year, or for the rest of the year, pretty much. So I may do a solo play session when I have time. I'll make sure to post that up. Kind of hopefully enough time for people to come through too. But sick that the base kind of game came with those solo play rules. Also, not even with the solo play, you get adventures, which I think there's 10 different adventures that you can either kind of run them as like one shots or combine them into a major campaign within here too. So that's definitely kind of a great value. A lot of the games I play, you're lucky if you get one in there, one in the core rulebook, but it's great that they kind of give you 10 that you can go through and play. Probably the thing that's probably got me the most stoked though, is they give you like, and then this is gonna be the hardest one to get on the camera, right? But they give you like a whole map of their area, the Misty Vale, that kind of a Dragonbane setting takes place in, which is really cool. Good quality too. And like I think if you look back when I think I was paying like $50 and I got all this. So this is really crazy. Definitely a great surprise because we're still not done with all the crazy stuff you get. You also get a like a little battle map, so it's looking bigger too. But I'm not going to expand that. But that's kind of sick too. I mean, it's always nice to get battle maps, especially if you're a new GM and don't have any, or if you played online a lot lately and you can't find yours, like me. So I'm happy to get that too. You get some character sheets, a ton of character sheets, also some pre-made ones too. So if you're playing in person, and people don't want to make their own, they can just pick one of the pre-mades. And this one's sick. I need to go through the bestiary that they provide in the core rulebook to see if this is like everybody. But you get like stands as well as like little tokens for some of the big monsters in the game. And I think look at the number, it's probably pretty close to everybody that's actually in the core rulebook. So that's like a pretty dope deal for that. And then finally, so there's still more. You get some dice too. So one of my favorite colors, I love green, so definitely gonna be throwing these in my probably my standard dice bag. And then you get some adventure and treasure cards too that you can kind of utilize while playing the game. So this not the best unboxer, but I just had to do that with just how much crazy stuff came in with the Free League Dragonbane system. So definitely worth checking out. I think I heard a rumor that next year they're thinking of doing a hardcover copy of the core rulebook. I'm not sure how much will come with that, but if you see this box set, pick it up. There's a lot of great stuff in there for you. But let's get into our first impressions of the system. Usually we don't do unboxing, so let's get into our usual flow here. So as I said, the game was named in the Scandinavian Drakar ak Damanar, and one of the big premises of this, and if you kind of saw it written out, you probably guess it, is it's demons versus dragons. Kind of like their whole setting, the Misty Vale, was always in conflict with the dragons representing order and kind of building their empires, and demons representing chaos, trying to tear everything down, and they've been in like a constant conflict for millennia. And now they've kind of like the conflict's cooled and they've kind of like not disappeared, but kind of faded into the background, we'll say, which has allowed some of the more mortal races to come in. And that's where the adventures have come through, exploring some of these draconic ruins, sites of great demon wars. All of that will kind of be available to you as you go through and play the system. And somebody I love dragon and kind of fiendish lore, so that's definitely something I'm excited to dive into a little bit more with this system, and especially in our one shot too. With this, it's kind of like OSR style light is probably the best way I can see with it. It has like a lot of like the old, and especially coming from the '80s, it's old school, so it makes sense. It has a lot of those old school tenets. From what I'm seeing with it, it doesn't seem as lethal as some of the other old school games like Stars Without Numbers, Worlds Without Numbers, Karen, all those. It seems like it's still pretty lethal, but not to their degree. But it has a lot of that same old school tenets. It's a D20 system, similar to End of the Odd, where you roll D20, but you want to roll below your skill, which is kind of cool on that side. Kind of mixes it up a little bit. So your ones are going to be great, your 20s are going to be terrible. And I liked how they brought that into the lore a little bit. When you get a one, it's called a dragon crit. And if you get, which is because ones are crits of the system. And if you get a 20, it's a demon or demonic failure, one of the two. So I thought that was kind of cool. That's I like we kind of bring the lore into the mechanics a little bit. But yeah, it's kind of similar. If you play a lot of those old school games between what Karen, I think Mork does roll below too. It's been a while since I played them. Very similar on that side. But yeah, it has that OSR style feel. From just my first few glances at the character creation rules, it does seem pretty straightforward. Like you can build one quickly, which is one of those nice things too, especially for impromptu games. If you're having somebody come into a new system, it's always nice to kind of dive right in, build a character, and be able to come right to the table without having to spend hours kind of scrutinizing the book and kind of figuring out what the best combos are. I love doing that too. I'm a huge Pathfinder fan, but sometimes it's nice to have those easy ones. You could just say, somebody canceled, here's a game, roll your characters, we'll have an adventure in like the next 10 minutes. So I appreciate that on that side. With that too, so a couple of the big things that really kind of stood out to me so far. Really big thing. I know I said it a couple times. I really like that they included solo play rules with the system itself, I'm glad more games are kind of embracing the solo play rules. It actually may just be a free league. I was like, now that I think about it, all the free league games lately I've played, 'cause we did Lord of the Rings solo play, or the One Ring solo play, I should say. We did Symbaroum. They've got a solo play now, and that's Free League too. I think Alien has one. We didn't play that. We had a group for that one. And now Dragonbane. So I'm glad Free League's embracing solo play. I know, even for myself, who I get to play pretty often, organizing games can be a chore and it can be difficult to find people, especially if you don't like playing online. So I'm glad that more companies and Dragonbane is embracing the solo play side, so you can still get to try out the system, get to see how it feels without having to worry about having a whole table to play with. You're finding a table that matches your play style, which can be pretty hard too. So I'm really happy they did that. I like the art. I like kind of the mallards and the wolfkin. That's not their name, but I'll have to look that up before character creation because I'm making one of the wolf guys. I like kind of how there's some of these kind of just different races than you see in a lot of other games. So I thought that was cool too. But one of the biggest kind of first impressions overall is just I really like that it's kind of like historical is a bad word for it, but I like that they're bringing back an old school system to an audience that never really got a chance to play it. So super hyped to kind of see how this one plays and dive a little bit more into it. So far, haven't really. My biggest complaint, which is super minor so far, is that the box set didn't have a hardcover version of the rules. If you've watched the channel, you know I love my hardcovers. But luckily, I've just thrown that big box on my shelf with everything in it, and I was proud of myself for keeping everything together before the video. I was worried I was going to lose half the stuff, but definitely kind of a good value, I'll say, compared to some other RPGs on the market for how much you get. And I think I paid 50. But correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe more or less now. Who knows? But it was a good deal for what we got there. But yeah, so let's give our first impressions. I'm excited to dive into the system. I haven't played a free league game I haven't liked so far, so I'm hoping I'll like this one as well. But definitely make sure you come through this Wednesday. We're going to drop our first character creation video, kind of showing you how that process works and how to build your own PCs in the system. The weekend after, we're going to be going through the core mechanics. The week after, we're going to be going into solo play rules. Just kind of really highlighting that out. And then after that, it'll be Thursday the 28th where we get into our live actual play of the system and your chance to win a free rulebook of the core PDF. For one lucky viewer with the raffle. So make sure you come through. There's gonna be a video link for the actual play and the description. Make sure you click that, notify me so you can come through and get your chance to win a free copy. But overall, thanks for hanging out. I know it's been a minute since we got to dive in. Holidays and work have been sapping my time, but luckily I'm on PTO, so we're gonna go expect to see a lot more videos coming up. Yeah, like, subscribe, and till next time.